I've experienced a lot of ships over the years, and this is a great ship. She's solid, she sails very well in heavy seas. Amenities on board are fantastic. It's quite an elegant ship. It's nice to explore a really wild and remote part of the world and then be able to come back home at the end of the day to this beautifully appointed and elegant vessel with fantastic cuisine and just comfort all around.
As far as expedition cruising goes, Lars-Erik Lindblad invented the practice out of whole cloth, if you like. I mean, he was taking people to Antarctica when it was the preserve of explorers and scientists. So the combination of Lindblad and National Geographic is just the jewel in the crown. It really is. I'm very excited about the ROV. It's been said before that the partnership between National Geographic and Lindblad puts us on the cusp of exploration, and I'm really looking forward to playing my part in that. You know, the idea that we can perhaps see things that nobody has ever seen before in some of these remote locations is wonderful.
This is a spectacular voyage, not only for the places that we're going to visit, but the time of year that we are visiting. The Southern Ocean is just waking up from its winter slumber. The birds are returning, the whales are returning. High, mountainous, snow-capped peaks, ice on the water, which makes for a fulfilling and spectacular Antarctic experience.
I've been coming to Antarctica for more than 30 years now. I think it's safe to say it's in my blood. And this is one of my favorite places too. It's a perfect spot to start the voyage here at H.O. Island because there's lots to see. It's a convenient landing. Man, people are so excited. It's fun to watch the reaction everybody has with these penguins.
I have just loved the raw beauty of this place. It's taken me completely by surprise. It's just gone way beyond my expectations.
We are surrounded by penguin feathers flying in the wind as the little chicks from the Gen 2 penguins are molting. Right now we have two species of penguins with their chicks. The Gen 2 penguins, which are a little bit taller, weigh about 13 pounds, and the smaller, more feisty chin-strap penguins, weighing in at about 9 pounds.
We are in Charcot Bay, and behind us, Lindblad Cove, named in 1996 after my father, Lars-Erik Lindblad, for his pioneering work in the Antarctic and his absolute commitment to conservation. I remember when I got the letter from the authorities naming this cove, and I couldn't believe it. And finally I'm here, 15 years later. It's the most beautiful place I've ever seen.
So I think one of the most exceptional things about an expedition with Lindblad is that we are prepared to meet you wherever you are on your photographic journey. For those folks who just recently purchased their Aim and Create cameras, we can meet them right there. We can go right on up to serious amateurs, right up to professionally published people. We can hit the whole gamut, and we are able to meet people at all levels, and I think that's one of the exciting things about it.
Of all the trips Lindblad Expedition does for photography, without a doubt, the Antarctica, South Georgia, Falklands is the most diversified. Photographically, it's just an incredible trip.
I never dreamed I would have so much fun helping other people take pictures. I try to relate what I did for National Geographic to what we're doing here on a different week, and helping other people understand that, helping them with their photography, whether it's with a giant lens or a pocket camera. I get a big kick out of that. I never dreamed this would be so much fun.
I don't even know what to say. This is absolutely sensory overload this morning. We're at Gold Harbor in South Georgia. You know, you have expectations on what some place is going to be like. This has just exceeded it in every method, every manner you could imagine.
It's just plain magical. I'm totally overwhelmed. I don't know, it's just invigorating, even a little bit spiritual. I feel very lucky to be here.
We're here on South Georgia Island, one of the great wildlife spectacles on Earth. It's just a breathtaking panorama. It's absolutely incredible, and the light this morning has been beautiful. We're here in a place called Salisbury Plain. We're on the north coast of South Georgia Island in the Southern Ocean. This place is the Serengeti of king penguins, and this is the original Earth. The incredible thing is that we can still come to see it. And South Georgia is one of the truly great wildlife spectacles on Earth. And so I think that to see the wildness of the original Earth, the sheer abundance of wildlife really just makes me happy. It's just something that changes your life and changes your whole perspective on the world.
We're just coming into Port Stanley, a wonderful sheltered harbour at the east end of the Falkland Islands. This is a crazy, far-flung, tiny piece of the last of the British Empire. It's a British set of islands right down in the South Atlantic, barely 300 miles off the coast of Argentina. And it was with that country that there was a conflict in 1982, which has really set the pattern for life here. Everybody talks about life after the conflict. But it's an extraordinary place. It's really rather more like a tiny piece of a Scottish island. They're tough folks here who make a living from sheep out on the wild moors of the Falklands. But we're going to get to visit some of the more far-flung islands on the west, which are still fabulous havens of wildlife.
Here we are, landing about 28 guests. We're going to hike up through the tussocks and the vegetation, the higher elevation, maybe 2 miles, 3 kilometers, and drop down into Grytviken, famous historical whaling site. Now there's a contemporary museum and a church there. It's blustery, and we don't care. This is an expedition. This is not a cruise ship. We don't have napkin folding lessons and cha-cha lessons on board the National Geographic Explorer. We have lectures on geology and oceanography and penguin biology, and we hike in the wind, and that's a big adventure.
We're here to honor the memory of Ernest Henry Shackleton. It was Raymond Priestley who first said, "For scientific leadership, give me Scott. For speed and efficiency of travel, Amundsen. When disaster strikes and all hope is lost, get down on your knees and pray for Shackleton." To the boss.
I'm Carl Safina, here with Lindblad Expeditions at West Point Island in the Falkland Islands. And as you can see behind me, not only black-browed albatrosses, but also lots of rockhopper penguins. Albatrosses are the greatest long-distance flyers on Earth. They can spend months or even several years at sea. They live for decades, and a 50-year-old albatross has flown about 4 million miles. That is really just an awesome, awesome fact about these creatures. They are as graceful as angels, but they are as tough as leather. So they have my admiration, and they're also really, really beautiful.
Oh my gosh, it's just spectacular. The sea's blue and the birds are all over the place. It's just something that you can't describe.
It has been spectacular from beginning to end, and let alone the wildlife. It's very humbling to come to terms with nature at this level.
I'm overwhelmed by this place, but I've been here before, and I came back. This was the reason for my trip, to be back on South Georgia, because I think it's spectacular.
It's a childlike sense of wonder. One of the most endangered things we have in the world today, perhaps, is a sense of wonder.
You wouldn't be able to imagine it. You can look at pictures in National Geographic. You have no clue. Until being here and being among them and being allowed to stay here for hours and just sit. and look at them, beyond what I could imagine, and I thought I could imagine.